Thank you, Virginia.
Sure, happy to help.
Hey Tom, just Jeff Kraft here, just saying good morning. I'll be listening in, this interested to hear all the updates that are happening.
Thanks for joining, Jeff. It's good to hear you.
Yeah, good to hear you too. Seeing a
Morning, David.
Morning, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good morning.
Morning, Matt.
I had some challenges logging in, so I had to use I'm on my phone, so excuse me if it's bad sound quality.
No, it's fine for now. Wait a few more minutes, I believe. Stephen and Jay also accept it, so wait for them for a few more minutes. Just sent them an email, so another couple minutes.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late.
No problem. Thank you for joining. Great, let's get started. We can do some introductions. Tom Kurek, I'm the Public-Private Partnership Director. Matt, if you want to go.
Sure. Matt Gaynor, I am the project manager. I work for Tom in the P3 group.
David,
Yeah, good morning, everybody. David Dragoo, EDC Commissioner.
sorry, just as
I'll switch it to Steven since
Steven.
Stephen Pallets, EDC Commissioner.
Great. Well, thank you all for joining us today. We've had a lot of momentum going since we met last. Made some big strides on a couple of our projects. We'll go through them, and we'll start off with we brought on a bench of technical advisors as well. We selected a bench of 3 different technical advisors. We selected the 3 firms we selected are WT Partnership, WSP, and AECOM. So all 3 of those have come on, and we've contracted with them. All 3 of them are already starting on projects, so we're excited for that. What we do is we usually will bid out for most of our projects, and we'll do that going forward. But for these technical advisors, because we already had projects kind of in the works, and a couple of them we already had. Luckily, some of these advisors had already worked previously on these projects. I thought it would be best to kind of just put them back on these projects moving forward. So we'll start off with the first one, the Lakewood Complex. AECOM 2 years ago had actually done the initial study on the site over at 1881 Pierce, and did a feasibility study on that property for us, a market study, and had done some previous work over there. Before I even came into the office, when Natrice was here. So we did have some previous pre-development work done on the site. And about 6 months ago, we kind of took that project back up, and I started looking into it more. And there had been some developments that really made it even a better project for us to really move on. With the DMV moving out of there, and History Colorado is potentially going to move there and use that property as a warehouse. So a lot of the traffic now will no longer be coming in and out of that property. It won't be used as a public facing building anymore. There used to be 500 employees there. Now it will be 10. So we were able to really expand one of the parcels into the large parking lot that is currently there, and so we went out for an RFQ on Monday on that project. We worked with KPMG, Ballard Spahr, and AECOM on that project, and we're really excited about it. It's also, Lakewood is going through a rezoning process. So currently that property is zoned as mixed suburban office, but with talking to the city, they agreed that we should go out to RFQ as mixed general urban, which will allow for much higher density as well for our parcel. So it has gotten, anecdotally, it's gotten some some pretty good reception in the market. So we're excited for it. Our site walk will be March 25th. So we'll know more then on the interest. We have that up on our website for an RSVP. You don't have to RSVP, but we just wanted to put that out there so we can kind of gauge interest on how many people will be coming. The idea for that, so we didn't go through the state's procurement process. We tried to really tie as closely as we could do it, just so people understood we're not, this is a competitive procurement process. It's not like we're just handing it to someone, but we also didn't want to tie it up in too much red tape where where people were not going to want to put bids on it. So it was kind of a fine line. I tried to really toe to make sure that we were getting bids and it was also competitive. And I think we did a good job at towing that line. And so we plan on closing that RFQ May 9th and then choosing a developer in June. From there, we'll go into a preliminary development agreement and eventually a development agreement. We hope to be in the development agreement by fall, which will open up the developer to get any kind of low-income tax credit financing they're going after for next year. So that's kind of the financing plan there. I most likely will go in front of either testify or just have a kind of a memo to CDC on the 20th for that. They will hopefully approve the change from a state use of underutilized property to a non-state use. And if they approve that, that we're pretty much all go ahead. The terms of that is at least 80 affordable housing units and a some sort of 99-year ground lease is what we're asking for approval for. I expect it probably to be more than 80, but I just wanted to make sure we kind of opened it up the tent as wide as possible on these proposals. We really wanted to get a full range to see what's out there and what people are offering, and we didn't want to cut too many, make it too rigid that we didn't get too many proposals back. Do you guys have any questions on that one? Right. So I'll do Steamboat. Suzanne couldn't make it this morning. She might join later. She just had a doctor's appointment come up late that she had to join. So Steamboat, we've been working really hard on that project. A lot of the people at Steamboat, actually, there's been a lot of change there. People that originally started the project at the city of Steamboat have retired. So there's been change in the city of Steamboat working on the project. So we're kind of bringing them up to speed. Originally, the cost came in and it looked bad for the project. It was very expensive. But we've done some value engineering and we brought down the costs a substantial amount. Kind of what we did was took out the parking lot and that took it, or the parking structure, and that took the costs down a substantial amount on the project. So we're working with the city of Steamboat, with CDOT and Routt County on next steps, kind of still doing the pro formas, seeing how we can make it work and how we can kind of figure out that gap in financing that we still have. I think eventually it will come down to really a policy decision on Steamboat's part. Do we really want to put out more money and kind of put this towards the original purpose, which was housing housing childcare workers? Or maybe do we want to make this an affordable housing project where we go after low income housing tax credits, which would make it a different project, but I mean, you kind of, there's no way you can get $20 million in grants to kind of to finance it, right? So there's got to be, you kind of, at some point, we're going to have to make a decision one way or the other. And that's kind of what we're going through now, is trying to figure that out. Which way do we want to go on this?
Tom, clarifying question on that one. I don't have the site plan up. Can you remind me what the parking, the reduction in parking did to the overall number of units? Because I remember the parking being an issue. Just can't remember the site plan.
Yeah,
the-
so,
I'm sorry, Tom, I can answer that one if you want.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it went from, they were looking at 36-ish units. The drop down with the reduction in the parking and the building change as part of looking for the value engineering brought it to about 33 units. And also looking at about 9 classrooms for early childhood care that would accommodate about 81 or 80 to 85 infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. So the reduction in, there was no, the reduction in units was really based on some of the things they're looking at is what's the breakdown of the units going to be from 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, things like that, and a little sizing adjustment on those.
Okay. Yeah, just from the experience, childcare, you depending on the code, you park them to a retail count because there's high traffic counts in the morning and afternoon when everyone's picking up and dropping off, and that's the only challenge. But I know that the county up there, that the town will probably be accommodating.
Yeah, and next door there is the transit
Exactly.
hub.
That's what I
So
remember.
we're hoping that we're able to get a variance because of that, and that's kind of the idea.
Okay. Good. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Next project, Governor's Mansion parking lot. So for this project, we have already gotten conceptual design. We went with CU Denver, so we have 3 different designs from that project from them. That was a nice partnership we had with them. It was some exciting work. We are now going. We're working. We put out a proposal there to bid for our technical advisors. We expect those back on Monday, and from there we'll kind of select someone to work with on this project. And then we are going on Friday, we're going to put out kind of a bid to our financial and legal advisors for the project. The hope is to kind of, as soon as we select a developer for Lakewood, put out an RFQ for this project, so that if someone does put a bid out in on the Lakewood project, they don't get it, then maybe they're still interested in this project that we're doing at even though it's really not that similar. I don't want to put anyone off on kind of, we're still in the running for Lakewood, so we don't want to put in the work for the Governor's Mansion parking lot. This project will be interesting. We're working with the governor's office and with the funds will go to the Governor's Mansion fund. So any revenue we bring in will go to that. I'm looking at potentially trying to do some kind of agreement where we're kind of get some kind of like broker fee or some kind of fee that brings at least some of our revenue that we're spending up front back into the P3 fund, so we're able to reinvest this across the state, just so we are able to continue doing this work, because we are we have to be a self-sustaining fund overall. So that's the hope. With this project, it has already been approved by CDC in 2022. The terms there were 28 parking spaces have to be kept for usage by whoever's using it now. And safety has to be brought into place. We're working with the state police on any safety measures on that. And 20% of the units have to be 80% or AMI or less, or 80% AMI or less, 20% of the units. So with this, I'm also looking not only at affordable, but maybe potentially attainable housing. So we're really keeping it open. That's why I'm bringing on a technical advisor to kind of see what the feasibility of potentially a attainable complex would be here. And so that's where we are here. I think 3 months is doable to get out the RFQ, and that's kind of the goal. Especially now that we have like the template that we created with Lakewood, and that was really difficult. A lot of hard work we put into Lakewood, but we did all that from scratch. I think that now that we have kind of a template going with Lakewood, we can duplicate it. Every project won't be the same, but that idea of putting together the RFQ, the PDA, and development agreement, a lot of that work will be able to be minimized where you're just editing instead of drafting.
Tom, I forgot to bring some up about Steamboat. Sorry to go back, but
No
thanks for
problem.
the summary on the governor's mansion. Do you guys remember on Steamboat? Have you guys explored the New Market Tax Credit Partnership? The reason I bring it up is because they changed the test to a building by building test, where if 25, and there's really no hard rule, but generally 25% or less of the building is 25% or more of the building is used for commercial, you can actually get New Market tax credits.
Okay.
Which would mean that if the childcare center is commercial and it's more than 25% of the square footage in the single building, that could bring in more competitive applicants for a public-private partnership versus just housing developers.
Okay. No, that's good to know. I'll bring that up at the next meeting.
And that'll be Chafa, they got their experts you guys work closely with. They can walk you through the kind of eligibility and if that would even fit. But I forgot to
Yeah.
bring it up. It was in my notes. So
No, that's great. Matt, do you want to give a overview of the DOC broadband project?
Sure. So the DOC broadband project was facilitated between our group and a grant that we received from the Denver Foundation for broadband expansion in Lyman and Sterling correctional facilities. Lyman has been completed. That installation was done in, I believe it was the beginning of November, which was the fiber and things of that nature. OIT came through afterwards and just recently completed their installation of switches and some of the Wi-Fi components for that. I'm waiting on some analytics back from DOC to see how many telehealth pings they had through the new broadband installation. And as far as Sterling goes, Sterling, we completed, as I said, we completed alignment first and then resumed some of the work on the bidding and costing for Sterling. Originally, that came in a little bit higher than when you summed everything up than what our grant was. So we had to sharpen our pencils and go back and see what could get completed. The outcome of that was we scaled down the project slightly to accommodate the finances that we had. And yesterday there was a construction walk with Sturgeon, who is our electrical GC, and their subs for starting the project up and what the subs need to do for entry and things of that nature into the Sterling facility. I'm waiting on the schedule back as an output of that meeting. I would anticipate, again, it's just a swag on my part that they would be starting their work out there within the next 2-3 weeks. And in discussions with the team, I've been told that it should be approximately 6 months to complete Sterling. So we're looking end of summer. And I don't know if anyone has any questions on that.
So CDOT I-70 parcels. So this is a interesting partnership we're trying to develop with CDOT. As you know, they own a lot of land across the state. And what we're trying to do here is these are kind of remnant parcels from the I-70 expansion. And there was 13, something like 13, 15 parcels that were remnant parcels from the expansion. And we started doing some local community engagement with CDOT, and we were able to pare down the parcels from 15 to 5, where CDOT will be able to, we got the community to agree that about 10 of them, CDOT will just be able to go through their normal process. They're like industrial or really small, unusable properties that we wouldn't have, as an office, been able to do much with. So CDOT will just be able to kind of get them off their books, go through their normal process. We'll no longer have to provide security for them. And that will be helpful for CDOT so that they don't longer have to really worry about those pieces of property. The other 5 parcels, we'll kind of start going through our process on them, do some feasibility studies, feasibility work on them. Now, these are CDOT parcels, so there'll be kind of different work for us where we're gonna, in our feasibility work, what we'll look to do is kind of give CDOT options, like, because CDOT they have to, in their statutory requirements, they have to get market rate back. So we'll kind of give them options where, okay, you can get this much money for this project if you get this much affordable, if you get, say, 20%, if we can get 20% affordable housing there, or you can get this much money back if you get 30%. If we do a ground lease, we can get 40% affordable housing there. At least that's my idea right now. We're gonna bring on a technical advisor probably in April for this project, and start doing feasibility studies for all 5 of those properties. And I think we'll not just do affordable housing, also look at childcare over there and see if any of those properties are open for childcare possibilities as well. I know the city is interested as well in working with us, so we'll try to partner with the city of Denver. I know because of kind of how the affordable housing packs that they try to pass didn't get passed. They're looking for all kinds of opportunities to partner. How can we get more affordable housing units in the city? So I think that's a good opportunity for us to partner with them and see how we can work together to get the best bang for our buck here as well. Durango's, so we are under contract for this property. It's the property that we had talked to you kind of out of session last time. It is directly next to CDOT Region 5 headquarters down there. We are doing further due diligence. We brought on WT Partnership to work with us to make sure that we're not missing anything, that this is a good property to potentially do affordable housing on. Right now, it looks like it is. It doesn't look like there's any red flags we're missing, so that's good news. Once we do once we do purchase the property, the idea will be to start going into further negotiations and discussions with CDOT, potentially the school district down there, potentially Fort Lewis College down there. And the idea will be, if possible, the CDOT property next door. CDOT is potentially looking to get a new headquarters and potentially moving that headquarters and kind of seeing if we can make that development we bought a larger affordable housing complex. City of Durango is really excited about the opportunity that they've been looking for affordable, attainable housing for a while now, and this is a great property for it. And so they're talking about creating a urban a URA, and they're also talking about PABs as well. So they've been a great partner, and I think this is a project that, while complex, it could be a really good project that shows what P3s can do for the state and what we can do across the state of Colorado as a unit, and with true partnerships with localities and other state agencies moving forward.
Tom, thanks for this update. A couple of clarifying questions on this one. You remember we went through kind of our list last time. I'm optimistic CDOT will work with you. There's a lot of things they've got to do for this site. So at WT, who is helping you do the feasibility? Do you know the individual?
Matt McCleary and Matt Brown.
Okay. One thing to bring up would be the geotech report. You know, the complexities. If you haven't seen it, I would take a good look at it. Just my assumptions are it's gonna be interesting. I know the site's already graded though to a degree. I think the fact that Region 5 is there makes this really, 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 really smart, because historically they are the slowest region to work with. So you know that. You've been warned. So
Yeah, and the good news is the previous owner of this property, they were approved for development, but they needed equity. The reason they pulled out is they needed equity for another development. So that was further along than this one, and so that's good news. I mean, it shows that it is buildable and it's feasible. Now, it is obviously not a slam dunk, and nothing in development is, as we know. But that's the good news part of it. Now, I think we're going to get it. That approval runs out in January of 2026. I think I'm going to try to get an 18-month approval on it to give us more time. We'll have to do some work with I think city council will have to approve that. And then I think that will give us more time to do some of our partnership work, as well as really decide on, do we want to just go with our property, or do we want to make this a bigger development? And that will really depend on forces outside of our office. But I think if we're able to make this a bigger property, I think it will be a really big win for the state as a whole, which will be nice.
yeah, agree. And I think that's a good end of town, given the growth at the ski, what is now Purgatory. It keeps changing, but it's Purgatory, which is what we've always probably known it as. And then there's a lot of resources needed at that Glacier Club development about, several miles up the road there. So thanks for that update.
No problem. Okay, and then final update is AHEC. So this project has been going through many different phases, changes, all kinds of stuff in the last 2 years. You guys were even talking about it before I was here. But I think in the next 3 months, my goal is to go under IA with them. They do have the agreement. They got the Prop 123 funding. So that gives me confidence. They're working with Chaffa now. Me and Matt are on those calls bi-weekly. So they are they have a leader that, in my opinion, they're going to have to stick to standards much more than us. So that gives me confidence that whatever they build is going to kind of have to be whatever Prop 123 standards are. I think they got 13 million from Prop 123. So that's good news as well. So my goal is to go under IA with them within the next 3 months. And basically the agreement will be like, you have to do what Prop 123 says, right? Like, and I think that will be fair. They are starting phase one, which is it's going to be student housing, which they had to kind of switch out. They were trying to do museum for a little bit, but that didn't work out. And then student housing kind of made the numbers work. So that's what they ended up decided on. And then the phase two will be our project, which is the early learning center and the 330 housing units. So we're excited about that. And I talked to Zach from the Warrior campus yesterday, and we're going to talk to on Friday again with Columbia Ventures and him, and really try to get this done in the next couple months.
Congrats. That's been, I don't know if Jeff Kraft's on the call, but this feels like the RTA projects, Jeff. Some of them, right? They just, for a long
Some
time.
of these definitely have their stops and starts and twists and turns for sure, for sure.
Congrats on that one, guys. That's a big one. In that, you're right about that, Tom. The Prop 123 rules, it's a 30-year deed restriction, and all electric. It depends on the county or when they were awarded, but the energy code or the IECC code could be 2021 or could be 2018. So they're having to be built pretty efficiently, and depending on the code, with continuous installation, and it makes utility bills, go down, which is good. So, but they're more expensive.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Always a fine line.
it's always a fine line. Yeah.
And the only other really update I have is that we are still, for our grant, we are still in contact, and it still sounds like we're going to be moving forward with our grant with the U.S. Department of Transportation for $724,000. It'll be reimbursable. And the 6 properties we'll be working on for that will be Durango. It will be Lookout Mountain. It will be 1313 Sherman Street. And at 1313 Sherman, the idea there will be that's an office building right now. It's the Centennial Building in Denver. Is this building is it a potential for office to residential conversion? Is it a possibility? And that's kind of we would also want a childcare on the first floor, because we have had interest in that. And that's why I really like that we got the federal money for it, because I'm kind of going out and thinking, what are some projects that I don't really want to, I don't have the budget to do with my budget. But we have some extra funds. What can we do? And another one is Grand Junction Regional Center. That would be another one. There's a lot of entanglements around that project. There's been tons of study. They're working with the tribes right now on it. But I think in 2026, we'll kind of take that up and see if there's any possibility, if we can do anything with it. What are the feasibilities? And then Montview and Pueblo properties. That's all I have.
Cool. Thanks for those. Good job.
Thank you. You guys have anything else?
I like the beard, Tom.
It's winter time.
Yeah, you're right. You're gonna have to. It's gonna be springtime soon, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah.
And I
and
like your beard too, but I think Tom is the winner today. So
yeah, I guess one more update was that we were able to, there was a bill that was going to use our funding to fund wildlife AI cameras to stop wildfires. And we were able to get that amended, so we were able to save our funding.
I'm glad.
Yeah. People got real creative on what a public-private partnership was and this session.
Man, you would think, with NORAD and the Air Force, we'd have a pretty good look at our force, but I don't know
Exactly.
anything about that, so leave it to the experts, I guess.
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, thank you guys for joining,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
feel free to reach out whenever with any questions, and
Great day.
have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, have a good week, guys. Appreciate it.
Hap-
Thank you.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Yep, happy almost St. Patty's Day. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.